Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now the other two videos I made were on how to draw a female and a male fashion figure. That kind of made me think about the different body shapes and how we generally end up drawing like an hourglass body for most fashion figures. If you do not know what that means, it's simple. It's that the hips and the bust align perfectly with the tiny waist. If you haven't checked out my previous videos, do check it out. It's in the description and on top right corner of this video. Today we'll learn how to draw an apple, rectangle, inverted triangle, hourglass and a pear-shaped woman. Also, keep in mind that the body shape is not the same as body size. A size 10 and a size 8 can both be a pear-shaped woman or an apple-shaped woman. So let's get started. So we started with like an apple shape. Now they have broad shoulders and mostly have fullness in the middle, and they do not have a defined waist. So this is interesting. Like a figurine was found in the Paleolithic era, and that was called the Venus of Willendorf. So she was supposed to be the ideal beauty at that time. She was voluptuous and definitely she's an apple-shaped woman. You can see it in the picture. Now, what's interesting is that she's so small that it just fits right in your hands, and as if someone who like sculpted it was made for her to be carried around, and she was supposed to be like a lucky charm for people. And the reason why she was a lucky charm was because she was considered a sign of fertility. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll just finish it up with this shading. Now we'll start with drawing a rectangle shaped woman. I draw like a rectangle and at shoulders and hips. They do not have a defined waist, and they have like straight hips and bottom, and they might not have so much curves as well. So like they actually look like a rectangle. So it was in the 1920s, okay, which was all about flapper style. The 1910s curve, which was the Gibson Girls curve, that was replaced by a rectangular body type, and they had flatter chest and flatter hips. Now this was because the focus shifted towards the legs, and at that time showing off the ankle was a big deal, and gradually these dresses became like shorter and came up to the knee length, like it was partially covering the knee. And I also found this really cool YouTuber who explains like what exactly 1920s fashion was like, and it's not what we think it is. If you're interested, do check out her link as well. I'll be in the description. I'll finish it up, and now we'll start with an inverted triangle. Now the shoulders are much broader. They might have curves, but like the size of the hips would be relatively small. Now it was in the 1940s that the fashion was inspired by the World War II, and that's why we had like military shoulders. And they wore like dresses and blouses, skirts, and the focus was on the sharp shoulder pads that were placed in the shoulders. And the reason why it was like that was because women started working, and they started going out, and the silhouette kind of tricked one's eye to think that the body was like an inverted triangle shaped body. This is what like how fashion has been doing to like literally all of us, I think. Anyways, so you saw like I made like an inverted triangle and then built in her waist and her hips. So the shoulders are much bigger and like are much broader as compared to her waist. Now comes the most popular hourglass. Like as I earlier said, that the bust and the hip align with the tiny waist, and that's how like an hourglass woman looks like. Now curves were like the most important thing in the 1950s. Tiny waist, large hips and large bust. Also it was Christian Dior who introduced the new look, featuring rounded shoulders, cinched waist and a fuller skirt. Like the skirt was an A-line skirt. He celebrated ultra femininity and opulence in women's fashion. So that was like kind of like a big deal, because he came up with something which was in contrast with what the 1940s fashion was like. Now, like an hourglass woman is completely done. Now, like a lot of shit went down in history in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. 60s was all about like petite girl because of the Barbie dolls, yeah. Everyone just wanted to look like Barbies. There were like colors everywhere. 1970s also demanded like a slim body. It was because of the models as well. It was the disco influence. They kind of wanted to be thin, slim, but like still curvy because of the invention of spandex and polyester. Because these fabrics kind of hugged the body, and that allowed like a lot of room for exposure of the body. Like, so women just wanted to expose their body, and yeah, of course, the disco influence. 1980s was like about high-legged models, like what we see now everywhere. We also draw high-legged models, and still now, like we draw croquis with high-legged models, and it was in the 1980s. It was because of like pop music, and there were ramp walks that was happening. It was also the era of fitness. Okay, everyone just looked sporty. They had like baggy jeans. They also wore like oversized sweaters and stuff like that. 2000 was also about that. What was interesting in the 2010 was that it was all about the booty. So the pure shape was like embraced by J-Lo, Nicki Minaj, Kardashians, and pure shape was like the one with heavy hips and small shoulders. So they do have like a lot of curves, but most of the curves was in her like hips. So like I'll just start with drawing like a triangle, and then build it up. Okay, so that being said, now I know how these ideas were formed. It was more of what the designers wanted the models to be like, and also like what models were famous at that time. Now the outfits also made like tricked the eyes to think of certain parts as beautiful. It was all about accentuating different parts, be it the shoulders, the hips, or the bust, or like everything all together, or the legs for that matter. Now, luckily, we are at an age where we embrace diverse body types in the media and fashion. And it's the media's idea of beauty which will always be subjective and which always will change. And right now it's the trend to not follow trend anymore. And social media must like have influenced women into being like body conscious, but at the same time this social media has also allowed real women to show off real beauty with real shapes that are around the world. So I think we're done. Do check out the links down in the description if you want to learn more about fashion history, and from where I got my references. You can learn more as to what women can wear to embrace different shapes. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Just share it already, alright guys? It'll help me reach out more people, and support my channel, please. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.